You know, celebrating Black History Month only how the Morning Hustle can, man. There's so many dynamic voices within the landscape, and she got one of the most dynamic ones of them all. You can hear every day on satellite radio, and now you can read her book, One Time for Harlem's Own, Bevy Smith. Hey. What up, Queen?
I'm good. I'm here with Bevelations, lessons from a mother, Auntie, Bestie. You better get your promo on.
Hey. I love how you own them all, because, you know, in this space and place that we're in right now, some people are like, don't call me Auntie. But you
I have to tell you, though. I have to tell you, everybody can't call me Auntie. Angie can call me Auntie because she's under 35. If you're over 35, you move into little sister, or if you're good and grown, like over 40, you move into Bestie.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to have to call you sis, Bev, because I'm 36 going into my 37th year.
I'm gonna let you live on this.
Can I live on the Auntie?
Because you got the fresh face, so I'm gonna let you live on Auntie.
And I'm 39.
I will gladly take it.
Now we besties over here.
Oh yeah, exactly. But sometimes it's like the grown face people that be like Auntie Bev, and I'm like, grown in the face for that, sweetie. You're a little grown in the face.
I love just your whole journey and the idea of Bevelations, because I think that a lot of young women especially can learn from just how you move, in terms of like, you make up your mind, you say, this is what I'm going to do, and you do it with no regrets. You've also had to leave like really comfortable situations. Let's talk a little bit about your journey, because you were living real good and said, no, I'm going to go bet on myself. Speak to how you were able to kind of move out of that comfort zone and really take a chance on yourself.
Well, first and foremost, I'm from Harlem, so you already know that Harlem people, we're gonna go get it. We're go-getters. That's the essential embodiment of who we are. Now, I don't call myself a hustler. I call myself a strategist, because for me, a hustler will go and take money anywhere they can get it. That's not my story. I always have a strategy. And to that point, when I left my big fancy job at Rolling Stone magazine, where I was the only Black person and the only woman in the sales team and management, I knew that I was going to take a chance on myself, but I also knew that it would pay off. And so it was a journey. And in the middle of that journey, I actually went broke. I went from making $350,000 a year to making about $35,000 a year. As you guys know, that's a huge deficit. But in the book, I have a chapter called Broke But Blissful. And it talks about how even though I was broke, I was so happy because I quit my job to do TV. I quit my job to become a writer. I quit my job to become a public speaker. I was doing all of that. The money just hadn't caught up yet. You know how they say, do what you love and the money will come?
Oh, yeah.
I know it sounds so trite and it sounds like so much BS, but I'm here to tell you, in my case, it really did happen. And I think when you talk to a lot of people who are successful, they will tell you that they did the things they loved and then the money came.
Now, Bevy, what was the tipping point for you to where you was like, you know what? Okay, the money's great, but I need to go out there and do what I want to do. Because some people will just sit in the money and not pursue their dreams.
Right.
Of course, and I think that that's a real natural thing for all of us. Well, I don't know you guys' circumstances. I only speak to myself. I grew up in Harlem. The average household income for a family of four is around $40,000. So, of course, I am not jumping for joy at the idea of losing all that I've spent, 20 years building. I spent 20 years building a career. I quit my job at 38. But when I was at Vibe magazine, and you talked a little bit to me before we got on air about being a part of the culture, I was really a part of the culture at Vibe magazine as a fashion and beauty ad director, where I was taking T.I. over to Milan, or I was introducing Usher to certain people. We took Tupac to Milan, so we were really fueling the culture. And once that became no longer enough for me, once I realized that I had all the things, all the trappings, I get to Milan and I have all the gifts from Gucci and Prada and Dior and all the things, right? And I'm miserable. I said, something got to give here. But it took me 5 years to figure out what that something was. I was 33 when I had a meltdown in Milan. That's the ugly side of my beautiful life chapter. I was 33 when I had that meltdown. I didn't quit my job at Rolling Stone until I was 38. So it took some time. So I never want to sell people a bill of goods talking about, you unhappy, just quit your job. You can do it, girl. It don't really work out like that.
Is this going to be an audio book too? Because I'm an audio book fan.
The audio book is there. The audio book is already buy it right now.
Let's go.
Buy it right now, my love. It's in the streets. It's in the air.
And what revelations could you possibly reveal for some of us fellas out here, man? Because a lot of times it feels like we don't really see enough self-help books. Women, you guys are so phenomenal how you're able to tell your stories and how detailed of the process and open you are. Guys just be like, yeah, I made it. And that's it. Like, better work harder. So like, you get some insight and some glimmer of hope.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that the rules apply to all of us, especially us Black folks, whether you're male or female. I know for a fact that all the men that I work with at Vibe Magazine were very high-flying, high-accomplished men. But at some point, most of them broke away from the status quo of working in corporate situations. And what I will tell you is this: Black people are resilient. We can take nothing and make it into something phenomenal. We did that with hip hop. We did that with rhythm and blues, which then white folks turned into rock and roll. We've done that time and again. And that's who we are. That's just in our DNA. You look at all the small Black businesses that are going on. We're in Black History Month. We should be supporting small Black businesses. For myself, I'm looking for small Black businesses that I can put in my Bevelations gift boxes, because I'm doing events with sororities and with HBCUs, and I want to make sure that I'm giving back. And I think that that's a really big part of how we start, Billy. We got to start supporting each other, and that means that for me, if Billy has something, if Ange has something, if any of you guys have something that you're trying to work on, we need to be promoting each other. We shouldn't be sitting up looking like, what he doing? Or you know what else I find sometimes too we do? We hold our stuff to such a high standards, like we're Target or Walmart. It's like, yeah, they can give you a return policy of 90 days. The small business can't afford to do that. And they can't give you free shipping, but we should still support, because we would want someone to support our dreams. Absolutely. So I think that's one way that we can really start helping each other, male or female. Did that help, Billy?
Oh, yeah, it definitely did. It gave some insight. I saw a quote this past weekend where it says, McDonald's been getting your order wrong since the late 90s. That you get mad at a Black business, a restaurant, for messing up one too many times on the shrimp. It's like, we don't give each other no leeway. So it definitely makes everything real clear. Support your local Black business.
We don't give each other enough leeway, and we have to give each other grace. I talk about extending grace in this book. And something else I want to talk about, Billy, because before we came on, you were like, I'm just a funny guy. Don't take nothing I say seriously. I want to just stop down on that for a minute. In my book, I talk about the 90s, the heyday of hip hop, the golden biggest people, the Pacs, Biggie, Puff, everybody. I was a hot girl. I was at the Tunnel. I was at the Red Zone. I was everywhere. And I had big relationships with all these people, not romantically linked. Well, I was romantically linked with other people, but not those people, okay? But one of the things that I used to always do and appreciate was that when me and Tupac got together, when we would like talk after the club, you know what I mean? We would always go out to lunch and breakfast and everything, like 4 o'clock in the morning. We would talk. I would lose my Big Bev from Uptown persona, which is the persona I was in the 90s. I would lose that, and I would go into my core, and I would be Little Brown Bevy. And I would be the curious, empathetic girl who loved history, loved Black history, loved all these things. And Pac would not be Pac. He would be Tupac Amaru Shakur. And he would talk to me about literature. We would talk about the Black Panthers, of which his family was a part of. We would talk about really great things. And that's what I want for us to do. In my book, I talk about stripping the layers down. Because as Black people, we built up this armor, right? And we built up these personas so that we can, not be hurt. A lot of times it's survival tactics, because I know a lot of times the toughest guys in the hood are really the most sensitive ones, right? We all know that, sensitive thug and things like that. And so I want us to learn how to take down the armor so that we can get the core of who we are, because that's how we really win. Because as you guys know, your fans, the people that listen to you every single day, see right through the BS. They want to know what's really going on with you. And that's why people that show up authentically who they are really win in entertainment.
No
that's
doubt.
Why Cardi B wins. She's authentically herself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, we give Cardi B passes that we wouldn't give other artists, because, like, we know that she doesn't write everything herself.
Right.
But anybody else, we would scrutinize them way harder. But we like Cardi B at the core of who she is, to where, like, we give her those Apollo Kids rules,
Yes.
to where, like, we don't
Yes.
judge you
Yes.
on the same.
Yes, exactly. And
But-
isn't that beautiful? We should be extending that kind of grace to each other and to ourselves. How about that one?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I was gonna-
we should.
I was going to ask Bev if you could give a Bevelation to Cardi B, especially seeing all the artists that you've seen throughout the years, you know, and seeing where she's at right now and where she could go potentially in the future. What Bevelation would you give her?
It's a Bevelation. It's the #1 Bevelation in my book. It gets greater later.
Mhm.
For as much as she thinks that she is doing right now, with all the talent and all the blessings that Cardi B has bestowed upon her, I cannot wait to see what she does in 10 years when she gets some real life experiences under her belt. When she's been through a few things, Cardi B is going to be a powerhouse, because she already is. But once she really starts to have lived through a few things, see, the business got to take you through a couple of twists and turns. Right now, she's disgruntled a little bit. You know, she'll say a little couple of things and everything. But once she gets really deep into it, she'll come out on the other side. And Cardi B is meant to be a teacher and a guide. I believe that about myself too. That's the reason why my book is a self-help book and a memoir, because I'm meant to be a teacher and a guide and a mentor. And so is Cardi. And so that's what I'm looking for her to do. I'm looking for her to step into that and own that fully. And for you guys are doing such a great job on your radio show. It's going to get greater later. I don't know what your goals and your ambitions are, but just through this Zoom, I'm feeling warm. I'm feeling love. I'm feeling supported. That means something. Now, I don't know if y'all go out and do public speaking, but if you do radio, you should be fucking talking for. I'm scared.
Oh, you're good. We encourage that kind of
catching
behavior.
a check for talking at corporations, because everyone's looking for us, especially during Black History, especially during June Black Music Month. Start thinking about that. Work with your team to say what kind of corporations. Sprite should hear from you, right? They always obey your thirst and hip hop and all of this. They should be hiring you guys for Black History Month or Black Music Month. You know what I mean? I don't know how many of you guys have ambitions to be on TV. You should definitely. I see that this is being recorded and everything. So yeah, we got to start putting these reels together, because we got to let these folks know that we're available and that we want these things, and we should speak them every day on the radio. You got a platform. This is your vision board right here. Speak on it.
Indeed.
Don't worry about if they talk crazy about you because you have a dream. In my chapter, Dare to Dream, I tell the people I have a goal to become an EGOT. That's someone who has an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar, and a Tony. And I have an actual plan to get there.
Come on now.
And I just did The View, and Whoopi Goldberg is an EGOT. And I said, Whoopi, you know I have goals to be like you, an EGOT. And she said, you're going to get there too, Miss B. Come on now.
Hey, now, affirmation.
Absolutely. Yo, for those that just joined us, we talking to Bevy Smith. Her book is out right now. It's called Bevelations. And because I know you're thorough when it comes to this hip hop thing, no pressure, Bevy Smith. Who are your top 5 hip hop artists of all time, dead or alive?
Ooh, top 5. Now you mean sexually or musically?
Let's go both. Let's go both, because that's a thing for some people.
I'm messing with y'all. Okay, let me think. Top 5 musically. Gosh, there's so many great ones. Okay, so we got to give Godbody Rakim, right?
Of course. Happy belated birthday to him.
Happy belated birthday to Rakim, indeed. LL Cool J. I do love 50. He's problematic with all the things. I do love 50 Cent. A seminal, game-changing album for me was The Chronic. So, I mean, that's a compilation of folks, but of course, Snoop comes out of that. So Snoop, who I just did Watch What Happens Live with, and that was phenomenal.
Did you get contact high through the Zoom? Or through
definitely the entire time we did the show, the entire time. But he also bought 50 of my books, Bevelations.
Oh, that's what's up.
A mother, Auntie Bestie.
Awesome.
I love him for that. Okay, and then I got one more. Somebody, you know what? And I know you guys, gosh, I got to go with like a woman, and I'm going to say like Lil' Kim. I love Nicki. I love Cardi. I know I shouldn't. I love Remy Ma. I shouldn't lump them all together, but and I
Well,
love
allow
my
it.
favorite say Rhapsody. So those are my top 5 female MCs.
Yo, shout out to
Yo.
Rhapsody. I don't hear
Hey,
her
Rhapsody
name mentioned
cold.
enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, she can go bar for bar with just anybody in the game.
Anybody.
Love her.
Male or female, Rhapsody is the one.
Indeed. Well, yo, you the one right now, and will continue to be. This is us, sprinkling some powder on you so you can get that EGOT that you want, that Emmy, that Grammy,
It's
that
coming.
Oscar, that Tony. Anytime I see you in any format, you're always one of the most informative voices in the room. Used to catch you on Page 6 back in the day as well. Continue success. Bevelations is out right now. You can get the paperback book or you can get the audio book.
I'm getting the audio book right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. This was a blast.
Likewise, and if people want to follow you, where can they go?
Everywhere I'm Bevy Smith. That's easy. Bevy Smith. By the way, I changed my name to make it more brand savvy.
Okay.
Okay.
Easy
That's
enough.
called strategy and planning, not just out here doing whatever.
And I talk about that in my book in the Brand You chapter. Okay, bouquet.
Get it. One time, y'all, from Bevy Smith.
Thank you.
guys.
We are the Morning Hustle.